Laura, I heard a troubling rumor about you. Can I discuss it with you?
Well, if it isn't Budget Bethany. What does the resident penny pincher want from me today?
It's quite rude of you to label someone like that. Please refrain from doing so in the future. We haven't spoken directly before, so I don't understand how you can come to that conclusion. Why do you believe it's acceptable to treat people this way?
I'm just stating things as I see them. I have a knack for recognizing people's social class when I meet them. I have an ability to discern those who rely on public transportation and food stamps, so I can't be bothered by welfare recipients. I've only seen you a few times at the kindergarten, and each time you were dressed in Goodwill bargain bin fashion.
I'm shocked that you can say such things to another person without feeling any embarrassment.
Let me be clear, in my line of work, I encounter many people, so I have developed a keen eye for these things. Even though our encounters have been brief, I can easily tell that your family barely makes it into the lower middle class.
I understand you're busy with work, making it difficult to meet you at the school, but I really wanted to discuss this in person.
Well, I'm a hardworking mother. Unlike some other lazy women who waste their time doing who knows what. I'm different from people like you, so it's hard for me to understand what you're saying.
Please take this matter seriously.
Whatever. What do you want? I'm a busy woman with a lot to do, and I'm being generous with my time by associating with you, so get to the point quickly.
Finally! I heard this from Katie's mom, and I wanted to hear your side of the story. Recently, Katie had a high fever and went to the university hospital. However, when her mother approached the reception desk for help, you turned them away. Did that really happen?
Is something as trivial as this circulating as a rumor now? Stay-at-home moms have too much time on their hands and tend to blow things out of proportion. That's why I dislike dealing with them. If they had jobs, they would understand how the world truly works instead of making up rumors and spreading them.
Is what she said true or not? Because of that incident, she had to drive almost an hour to the next closest hospital to get Katie checked. Why would a receptionist like you refuse them entry? You don't have the authority to deny care to patients who come to the hospital, right?
Of course I do. It's part of my job. As a receptionist at the best hospital in the state, I'm the first line of defense against undesirables wasting our esteemed doctors' time. I also have to consider the hospital's reputation. It wouldn't look good if we let poor people in and gave the impression of unsanitary conditions. If hardworking individuals saw the lower class in our hospital, they might think twice about seeking treatment they deserve.
That's not how a hospital operates. And such behavior is not supported by the hospital either. Why did you deny entry to Katie and her mother?
Isn't it obvious? Katie's family is financially struggling.
How would you know that?
I heard they live on the south side, and that should tell you enough.
No, it doesn't. What's wrong with coming from the south side?
See, this is what I'm talking about. Stay-at-home moms are ignorant of the world beyond their own lives. They are so focused on their small bubble that they never try to learn or improve. I also heard they rely on welfare checks to get by. It makes me wonder how they could afford to send their daughter to our prestigious kindergarten. So, to answer your question, I couldn't allow someone like that into our hospital. As you can see, I successfully protected the hospital from dealing with such people.
That's such a discriminatory perspective.
Thank you.
It wasn't a compliment.
You need to understand that they have other options. It's a case of noblesse oblige that we follow. Our tax dollars fund hospitals for them to use. Since they clearly can't pay for such services themselves, we take care of it for them. Second-rate individuals get second-rate doctors and facilities. They should be grateful because without people like me, they would have nothing.
Your way of thinking and actions are causing more problems for the hospital than you realize. Even from an economic standpoint, a child's medical costs are relatively low compared to the value they will bring to society in the future. What gives you the right to make unilateral decisions of such magnitude?
Are you serious? What right does an uneducated housewife like you have to speak to a registered nurse like me in that manner? It's because of uneducated people like you that we need separate institutions to keep the lower class away from the upper class.
This issue has nothing to do with social class, but it has everything to do with the hospital. You are tarnishing the reputation of that great institution. I didn't want to mention it, but I also have a stake in what happens at the university hospital.
Just shut up already. I don't want to hear about social contracts or the idea that it takes a village to raise a child. Those are just quotes that make poor people feel good about helping other poor people. I'm a seasoned nurse with a salary that matches my skills. You and I are on different levels. I play in the pros, and you're just a benchwarmer in Little League. Don't think for a moment that you can lecture me about anything, Miss GD.
It seems that nothing I say will change the way you see the world.
Minnows don't instruct sharks on what to do.
In any case, stop turning people away at the reception desk, and make sure you apologize to Katie's family.
Who do you think you are talking to like that? An SJW trying to score points with your communist friends? This is a free country, and I am free to make decisions about who can and cannot enter my hospital. I have no reason to comply with your requests.
I'm simply asking you to make changes before you regret them.
My only regret will be wasting my time listening to your complaints.
From now on, refrain from making such significant decisions without consulting others. People's lives shouldn't be at stake due to your whims. Missed call.
What's going on? Sorry, I can't answer the phone at the moment.
Dennis, it's awful. Sandy had an accident.
Oh my goodness. Tell me what happened. Is she all right? Please assure me she's all right.
While we were crossing the street, a car hit her. We're waiting for an ambulance right now.
Is she bleeding? Is she conscious?
I don't see any blood, but she hit her head when she fell. She's crying, but I'm uncertain if I should move her or not.
Okay, it's best not to move her, and her crying is a positive sign.
Will she be okay? If anything goes wrong, it's all my fault. I'm a terrible mother.
Please try to stay calm. Take a few deep breaths and remember what we've learned. If she's awake and there are no obvious external injuries, she should be fine. What about the driver who hit her? Are there any witnesses?
Yes, the driver immediately got out of the car, and he's the one who called the ambulance.
Since I'm not there, make sure you get the contact information of everyone who saw what happened. When the ambulance arrives, instruct them to come directly to the location.
Are you sure? You mentioned having a busy schedule today?
None of my appointments are emergencies, and they can all be rescheduled. I'm concerned too and won't be able to focus on other work until I see her myself. The sooner she can be evaluated, the better. Explain the situation to the emergency personnel and come to me directly.
Yes, okay. That already makes me feel much safer.
Me too. I need to check on a few more patients, but I'll be there as soon as you arrive.
Thank you, Dennis. I'm so relieved I managed to reach you. I don't know who you think you are or what you're thinking, but I will never forgive you.
Whatever. I've told you countless times before. We don't have time to deal with people like you. People in need should wait in line with others who are also in need, in the appropriate places. No one can enter this hospital without my permission.
You have no right to turn away my daughter who arrived by ambulance. Even if you're a nurse, a receptionist doesn't have the authority to do that. Either you're power tripping or you have some issues.
No, you're the one who needs to get your head checked. We won't treat a child on welfare because it's a waste of resources that could be better used for those who contribute. Don't you remember what I told you? People like you should go to places that match your social status.
That's it. Your disrespect and insults have gone too far. You'll regret this.
Ooh, I'm so scared. Threats from lower classes always make me laugh. They get all worked up about minor issues but then get distracted by sales at the supermarket. Go ahead, unleash your anger on me now, and then go relax by cutting some coupons from today's newspaper.
This is not a minor issue. My daughter may have a broken leg.
I don't care if the child of a blue-collar family has a serious injury. They won't be allowed into my hospital. Enjoy your ambulance ride and leave me alone. I need to take a shower now after talking to you at my desk. I feel disgusted after being exposed to your poverty.
You keep saying it's your hospital, but you just work here.
Yes, but I have the attendees list. Remember, only God, the director, and I can grant access to this hospital. And even God needs my permission.
That's a relief then.
I'm glad you finally understand.
Yes, because my daughter is the director's daughter.
What does that mean?
Seriously? Do I need to spell it out for you? Once upon a time, I fell in love with a man when we were both EMTs. We got married when he became the youngest head surgeon ever, and I ran the pediatric ward. I retired when I became pregnant to focus on raising our child. That child is the one you refused entry to her own father's hospital. You probably saw him downstairs in the reception area talking on his phone. One guess as to who was on the other end of that call. We're on our way back, so be prepared. Besides causing us unnecessary trouble, you've wasted my time, the director's time, the EMT's time, and the driver's time. I hope you can take responsibility for all of that. But you're an adult, so it shouldn't be a problem, right?
What are you talking about? It was just a coincidence that he was on the phone, right? Someone like you in sweatpants can't possibly know the director.
That someone in sweatpants, with a ponytail and no makeup, is married to Dennis Hill, the director of University Hospital. And you are the gatekeeping middle manager who referred to the director's family as poor peasants and kicked out his daughter. Your abuse of power and derogatory views based on your ignorance will be known to everyone. I will initiate an investigation into how many families you've harmed with your bigotry. I hope there were no fatalities because of your snobbish attitude, but if there were, I hope you understand the weight of that potential crime.
Wait, are you serious? Are you really the director's wife? You must be joking.
Is this the Apollo Theater? No? Then it's real. It's all real.
Why didn't you tell me from the beginning? None of this would have happened.
Why should it matter who I am? You seem to have forgotten the Hippocratic Oath.
It's just a guideline, right?
The 10 Commandments are guidelines. The oath is a promise to all human life. You are a disgrace to all medical professionals. I gave you many opportunities to change your way of thinking, but you disregarded me.
But I didn't know. You should have told me.
Changing the way you treat people based on their class may be acceptable for politicians, but it is unacceptable when you work to save lives. What you've done is unforgivable, and soon everyone you work with will know about it.
Wait, please wait. What I said didn't mean what you think it meant. It's all a big misunderstanding. I don't know why things turned out like this.
Enjoy making excuses and downplaying your actions. One last piece of advice: find a lawyer. Goodbye.
Mrs. Hill? How is your little girl doing? I had a meeting with the head nurse after that little misunderstanding, and she allowed me to leave early to gather my thoughts. I really wanted to check on your little Katie beforehand, but couldn't. I trust that she's doing well?
Her left femur has a 2-inch fracture, but otherwise, she is doing fine.
That is reassuring to hear. I was so worried about her. I will ensure she receives the best possible care. When I return, I will personally arrange for Sandy to have a private nurse 24/7 during her stay. It seems there was a miscommunication, and you may have misunderstood some of my previous comments. I didn't actually mean for you to leave the hospital grounds after we spoke. I meant for you to wait outside for a little while as we prepared a private room and cleaned up the reception area to prevent any potential infections. Do you understand now? I was only concerned about your and Katie's safety.
Wow, that excuse is just as unconvincing as Prince Andrew's. Care to try again?
Don't be like that. You took me too seriously. It was just a little joke between us, can't you see? We're both parents whose kids go to the same school, so a bit of fun is normal, right?
What if it had been a life-threatening injury? Your actions could have cost us valuable time to save her life.
But she was fine, right? So everything turned out well. No harm done. Don't you feel relieved that it wasn't serious? Kids recover quickly from injuries, and you'll soon forget about it. Let's put this behind us and act like adults.
I have no intention of ever speaking to you again. Please refrain from contacting me, whether through chat or in person. If you happen to see me in public, pretend we don't know each other. That's all. Goodbye.
Wait. There's no need to take such extreme measures, is there? We're friends, right? You wouldn't block a friend, would you?
You're absolutely right. I would never block a friend. But you? You are no friend, you never were, and never will be. Remove the R from that word, and that's what you are.
That's a bit harsh, don't you think? Look, we share the same group of friends, right? Contact is inevitable, so just this once, could you please let this misunderstanding slide? No one needs to hear about it, right?
Misunderstanding? If you can pass this off as a misunderstanding, then what Iago did to Othello must fall into the same category for you.
Come on now. You're exaggerating things too much. What I did can only be classified as a harmless prank since no harm was done.
How dare you say that? You've been fortunate that your prejudice hasn't caused serious trouble so far. You're trying to spin the story in your favor, just like any dishonest politician would, after learning the facts make you look bad. Anyone with a brain can see through that. Once you found out who my daughter and I were, your attitude changed. It's like the church pardoning Galileo 350 years later.
Seriously. Aren't you being too harsh on me? I'll let it go as long as you don't spread what happened between us, okay?
I won't have to say anything to you anymore because we are as good as strangers.
That's impossible. We both have children in the same kindergarten, right? As the hospital director's wife and the head receptionist, we should be friends and create a group of associated mothers to influence the kindergarten principal in our favor. That would open up more opportunities for our children to excel.
I can't believe you're still using these tactics.
I may have misunderstood you initially, but think of what we could accomplish together.
I don't care about your ambitions at all, and I don't want any part in it. I refuse to associate with anyone who judges people solely based on their appearance. No good can come from that kind of thinking.
I don't actually believe in such things. I felt the need to put up a strong front to protect our children from negative influences at kindergarten. I genuinely accept all people for who they are.
There you go again, trying to rewrite the past and redirect the conversation. You should have pursued a career in politics, not medicine. As a receptionist like you have no right to turn away patients. You have no idea how angry my husband was when he heard about what you did.
Come on, be a pal. I need you to talk to your husband and calm him down on my behalf. What would happen if I were to lose my job?
That is the least of your worries.
What do you mean?
Plans are already in motion to place you on unpaid administrative leave while the hospital investigates your actions. This is a serious matter that could damage the hospital's reputation, and they want to determine who is responsible.
You must be joking. You're just trying to get back at me, right? If this is true, it's not funny. I could be in serious trouble if it's true.
You're right, it's not funny.
Thank goodness.
Because it's not a joke. You, of all people, should know how serious I am after what you did to me. I told you that you would regret crossing me. Someone like you has no right to be in the medical profession. Consider it a favor.
Now you're bullying me for simply doing my job. Why are you persecuting a woman who has always done her job with honesty and kindness?
Do you even understand the meaning of those words? If you did, how dare you associate them with what you've done to me and other patients? Changing your treatment of patients based on their appearance? Is that part of your job? Do I need to recite the Hippocratic Oath to you?
Well, it's not exactly like that, you see. While my decisions were influenced by certain visual factors, there is a deeper je quoi underlying what I did.
I'm tired of hearing your excuses, and I have more important things to attend to. You'll have to wait until the head nurse contacts you again. My husband doesn't want to see your face ever again. I feel the same, so if you see me at the kindergarten, please don't approach me.
Okay. I apologize for turning you and your daughter away. Isn't that enough? So please speak to your husband on my behalf. I really need this job.
There's nothing in it for me to do so. Is there any benefit for my husband or the hospital? I think not.
Please, I'll do anything. I promise to change. Give me another chance.
Based on my experience, people like you never change. Consider this a lesson in real-world morals. Class dismissed. In the end, Laura received a call from the hospital and her employment was terminated. On top of that, further investigation led to both the hospital and Katie's family sued for damages to reputation and mental anguish, respectively. She panicked when she got served those papers and ran to her husband to bail her out. But when her husband heard the full story, he was so appalled that he asked for a divorce on the spot. She disrespected people for being poor, but now she's having trouble finding a job. News of what she did have spread around the whole state, making hiring her a liability. Last I heard, she quietly left the state and no one heard from her since.